Shalom to the light, giving all praise and honor and glory to Yahweh Shemel Shai, Bishop Kakudashin, giving double honor to the elder apostles and elder bishops, a great millstone who well, peace and salutation to the elect, the first fruits, the choicest parts, that whom the Lord will have mercy on in these times, starting with the 144,000 prophets and the rest of the remnant of the believers. The prophets are choice men, Israelite men, each of the 12 tribes of Israel. The 12 tribes of Israel consist of the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And since our seed has been scattered across the four winds, you do have Israelite foreigners and speckled bird Israelite foreigners that look like the heathen nations and where they've been scattered to, where their fathers have mixed and mingled with the people where they are and may look like other nations, but see, go back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Of course, you have that like remnant of Israelites of that 1/3. The Lord's gonna have mercy upon it as well. But it's all, of course, predestination and election. That's what it's all about. All right, and that's a gift, and that's beyond us. That's something that is handpicked and chosen by Yahweh, by Shemel Shai, by Shemel Kakudash. Now, you have it here, of course, giving double honors to the elder apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone, and Shemel Mappa and Zamappa from Great Millstone Plaintables Camp, located here in city Philadelphia. Let's come with this wee lesson here. So you have it here, which these cities are outrageous, and we can see that the Lord is definitely executing much judgment in the land and in Babylon the Great, America, and we can see the violence increasing and such amongst the people. Revenge plots. I just had seen just now. Let me see if I can pull it up on YouTube. Another. You have it for hire. Camden. You had it. A woman in Camden County was charged in a murder for hire plot to kill a Philadelphia police officer and the daughter for $12,000. We'll play this in fair use warning. CBS Philadelphia, as well as Fox 29 Philadelphia. This is for educational purposes only and not for any monetary gain. This is for journalism, educational purposes only.
This is one in Camden County. We haven't seen this in decades.
A murder for hire plot foiled. Investigators are saying a meeting in this parking lot prevented a woman from hiring a hitman to kill a Philadelphia police officer and his teenage daughter. Good evening, everyone. I'm Yuki Washington. That officer who was the target of the alleged plot is the woman's ex-boyfriend.
There you go. And you have it where this woman was the actual ex of the Philadelphia police officer, and she had conspired, which conspiracy going back to a breathing together and with this particular informant to delete her ex-boyfriend, which is a police officer. Now, I'm going to get this precept real quick. This is Matthew chapter 10 and verse 36. And I'm actually going to start a bit above. This is Matthew chapter 10 and 34. It says, "Think not that I am come to send peace on earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword." So the Lord Yahweh B'Shem Al Shai, through of course, his left hand is bringing forth a sword. And it says, "For I am come to set man at variance against his father, and the daughter against her mother, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law, and a man's foes shall be they of his own household." Okay, and you have it where, at one point, that woman was part of the household of this particular police officer, because she was his, what you say, estranged girlfriend, okay, or wife, okay, because there's no such thing as a girlfriend, okay. You have, wives, you have concubines, okay, harlots, zanayim, okay, which is harlot in Hebrew. But you see it. She would go to the depths to not only want to get him off, but also his daughter, okay, which that would be definitely some deep rooted evil, because she would want to hurt that individual by taking it. His his seat.
CBS Philadelphia's Aziza Schuler joins us now in Glendora, Camden County, and has the details on how authorities say this murder for hire plot came unraveled. Aziza?
Investigators say it was at this parking lot of the Dollar General on Black Horse Pike and Evesham Road in Glendora, where 26-year-old Jacqueline Diario handed over $500 in cash to...
And she's 26 years old, okay? We have it with this talk about, when they talk about like a older man preying on these alleged younger women. Well, this younger woman was dealing with this, man here, okay, 50 up in his 50s, okay, and that's mainly because, hey, women do seek that security. They look at the power, the authority that comes with being a police officer. We know most police officers are also very corrupt, have access to money and things of that sort. Hey, she, could have just been some just regular chick walking about, and he ended up having dealings with her, and then things went bitter, unpleasant.
An informant believing she was paying for the murder of her 53-year-old ex-boyfriend, who, as you mentioned, is a Philadelphia police officer, and his 19-year-old daughter. As we heard, the Camden County Prosecutor's Office is considering this.
So don't, when you Jake out there and Justin, when y'all getting involved, don't, as they tell you, but Bobby Brown song, don't trust a big booty and a smile. That girl is poison. Well, that's speaking right here. And you have to obviously understand the nature, of women and such, as the scriptures do give us the wisdom. All right, now this is, of course, where the shoe that fit. Okay, you wear it, but if not, if you are striving towards repentance and taking heed to the law, statute, commandments, and being subjection to Yahweh Shem Yahushai, which for most of you women that are single, we of course tell you to link up with a man of the Lord, a brother within this truth, okay, to have the doctrine of Yahweh Shai, all right, and be of course in order, okay, so you can be guided aright, because there's so much spirits, evil spirits, and wickedness and confusion out here, and having of course that head, or Ra'ash, he of course is gonna guide you and be your covering in these times, okay? The scriptures talk about women being saved through childbearing. All right, so this is going to be the book of Ecclesiasticus chapter 42 and 13, which it reads, "For from garments cometh a moth, and from women wickedness." Okay, you have to understand the nature of women. All right, the Lord spoke about He made man upright. Okay. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and 29. "Lo, this only have I found, that the power hath made man upright, but they have sought out many inventions." Okay, different ways, philosophies, okay, thinkings outside of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. And as we know, as Job 39:17 tells you, that she's been deprived of wisdom and knowledge and understanding. This is Job 39:17, "Because the power hath deprived her of wisdom, neither hath he imparted to her understanding." You know, what do you think most of the modern day women are up to? Okay, you know, most of them are going about, you know, just in the moment, in the heat of the moment, doing different things and living these very, very, very fleshly, carnal lifestyles. And it hasn't led to many good for most of them, because, you know, things get sour, and then this is what it amounts to. Now, King Solomon did take a count, you know, and he did state this is Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and 25. It reads, "I applied mine heart to know and to search and to seek out wisdom and the reason of things, and to know the wickedness of folly, even of foolishness and madness." So Solomon, being the wisest man that ever walked this earth, which was Yahweh Shai, one of his reincarnations, he had this wisdom. This was imparted onto him. Okay, he looked into the everything. Okay, it says, "And I find more bitter than death the woman whose heart and the mind is snares and nets." Okay, different traps and gins. Okay, and her hands as bands. "Whoso pleaseth the power shall escape from her, but the sinner shall be taken by her." Okay, so, you know, you have to be very, very careful, you know, obviously with dealing with modern day females and females in general, because their mind is as snares and nets. Okay, you have the haram and you have the Tazawud yum. All right, haramyum, and the haramyum is the nets, and Tazawud is the snares. Snares going into the strongholds. All right, and we see how a lot of men, they get caught, you know, in the stronghold. Why? Because they're on a hunt. Okay, you have women that actually go on a hunt for these certain men. Tells them what, go back to hunt. Okay, to eagerly hunt down. You got literally women that literally search to be with a man that is a police officer, a firefighter, men in uniform, okay, military men, etc. Okay, just like this, 2653.
To be a murder for hire plot that they haven't seen in decades. According to officials, Diario from Runnymede, New Jersey, had been in contact with the
All right, give me one more. I just had to increase the volume.
informant for about a week before the two met here last Friday in her car. Prosecutors say she even asked to see his driver's license before giving him the $500 down payment and was then arrested. Officials say Diario initially connected with the informant on Tinder with intentions of a date, but later revealed she wanted her ex-boyfriend, a Philadelphia police officer, murdered.
So you thinking that they on these dating sites for getting with men for righteous purposes? Hey, a lot of it is adulteries and crime scheming plots. Okay.
They say she offered to pay $12,000 in installments once the father and his daughter were murdered.
So she gonna pay it off in installment, like it's a financing package. $12,000. That's $6 apiece.
And we now know that the informant contacted the Philadelphia Police Department, confirming the ex-boyfriend's identity with the name and photo Diario provided.
They dated for about a year, and how they met, she was his barber, and then they began their dating relationship. There was clearly problems. There was a restraining order at one time. They ended the relationship March 6th. And their dating relationship. She was his barber, and then they began their dating relationship. There was clearly problems. There was a restraining order at one time. They ended the relationship March 6th.
And it wasn't over because, she still had some ill feeling, scorn, and to the point where she would want him and his seed to be taken at. This world, like I say, it's a lot of madness and wickedness that's going on in the world, and the Lord actually sets up the evil that's done in the city, as we know, pursuant to the book of Amos. Okay, but these days are definitely dark times. So you have to be very careful out there. This is another story here off of Fox 29 Philadelphia. A woman followed and shot in the heat after leaving work. Check it out.
Camden County. The West Hampton mayor is responding after a large party at a rec center led to chaos and vandalism. Again, bad behavior by young people. Here's surveillance video. Swarm of young people. Then they climb up on the cars. They're jumping up and down.
That's just menstruous women bringing forth monsters right there. So, you have all of that going on too.
Down 10 o'clock on a Friday night. This is right by the Spring Meadows development.
That's another reason why we don't be out there about, because on Friday nights, Saturday nights, a lot of these different nights, there's a lot of madness and wickedness going on, reveling going on.
At least 2 cars were damaged, and police are investigating. The mayor says, "It's my focus to meet this week as a team to determine what led to this, create an action plan to ensure it doesn't happen in our neighborhoods again." In Montgomery County, how about this for a situation? So a woman was leaving her job out of King of Prussia. She was followed all the way back into Center City, where she was shot in the head. So the 23-year-old victim left work around 3 on Saturday.
Young one, again, 23 years old, leaving outside of Philadelphia, King of Prussia. All right. Leaving work.
Saturday morning was followed
by a car. I'm assuming she was driving.
On the Schuylkill by a black Nissan with tinted windows and a broken left headlight, all the way down the Vine Street till she gets off right at A Street, and then she.
Yep, right to center. Hey, right to Center City. Hey, we used to be down, of course, at the camp. So you don't know if this is one of the women that came by the camp and scoffed and such, thought that, you know, she would never be judged, and judgment comes through.
She gets to the 400 block of North 5th Street. She must have been stopped at a light or something. The guy in the other car gets out and shoots her in the forehead, and then he speeds away.
Yeah, so a headshot. He intended the leader. Okay? A headshot all the way from coming from King of Prussia. Black wheel tent. The city got that, you know, supposed to be a whole mission to find people with these black tent. That's like every vehicle in Philadelphia. One time I remember I did a survey amount of vehicles that had black tent. It was like the whole Philadelphia.
Amazingly, she is in stable condition. It'll be a lot easier.
Yeah, so as you can see, right off 5th, the 5th and, what's that, like the 5th and Vine area, like Chinatown type area, almost, you know, downtown area, you know, Independence Mall area, you know, Northern Liberty Spring, whatever, Fairmount, whatever you want to call it, look like.
Stable condition. It'll be a lot easier to ride regional rail now. So we'd already done on our subway.
We're talking about some ride regional rail. Now, I'm going to keep playing.
It's the whole like tap to pay. So you can just use your own credit card or your Apple Pay or your phone or your watch, anything like a normal payment system you would at a store. You can now use that as well on regional rail for SEPTA. So that'll make it much easier for everybody.
Yeah. So even just let y'all know about the time of the cashless society, you know, because really that's going to be replaced with your device, with your actual yud hand, for those that's going to take the MOTB. All right. So, you know, we know that the days of evil, perilous times shall come. You know, so we got to walk as ones that are in the light and not as those that are in darkness. Okay, so, hey, you know, you gotta watch out. The scriptures talk about in the book of Isaiah, the 9th chapter, about that the why, or 9, or what's that, Isaiah? Hold up, that's not Isaiah 9. It'll be escapes me at this time, being it later. Said a Mark. That's Ezekiel, actually, my fault. Ezekiel chapter 9. And it says, and the Lord said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, which represents the Israelites, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and the Americans, Israelite foreigners, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and cry for all abominations that be done in the midst thereof. Okay, the mark is the Tawah, which is a mark of exemption from the judgment. There's very harsh judgments coming. Like I said, like these people getting shot in the head, different judgment, people get set up. Okay? If you got that mark of exemption, Yahweh Bashem Al-Shai has what? His name's within your forehead, okay? In which, that's protecting you. Having the angels encamped around those that fear the Lord. It says, slay utterly old and young, both maids and little children, okay? Old and young, so it's not, of course, discriminating against somebody, whether they are of a certain age or even if they are of a certain gender, okay? Going on. It says, in little children and women, okay? And women, okay? Marriageable age, and women that are, old, etc. All right? Elderly, because that's the Quan. You got Bathwala for, virgin, here. But yeah, you get the picture going on. It says, but come not near any man upon whom is the mark, and begin at my sanctuary. The Israelites, then they began at the ancient men which were before the house. Okay. So we're in the last days, defo. You know, we have to, of course, be on the lookout and pray the Lord have mercy on us. Okay? The scriptures say in Ecclesiasticus chapter 3 and 25, without eyes thou shalt want light. Okay? Yeah, without having the vision, the chazawan, alright, having the prophecies, you will want to have this knowledge, because if you don't have this knowledge, as the scriptures say, wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy time and the strength of salvation. Isaiah chapter 33. Alright? If you don't have this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, you're going to make dumb decisions. Alright? And get caught up in judgment by Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. At least he have mercy on you. It says, profess not the knowledge, therefore, that thou hast not. Okay? A stubborn heart shall fare evil at the last, and he that loveth danger shall perish therein. And a lot of course, individuals love danger. Alright? They're living these dangerous, wild lives in these crazy sin cities, and evil is literally death angels, in the form of death angel, is following them. So, of course, putting this warning out there, this ammunition out there, to be careful out there. Alright? So, shalom to the elect.